Welcome to an episode of Diary of a Root Doctor. My name is Ryan Edmonds, and today I just wanted to connect with you a little bit about. I've been doing some readings today for my clients all over the world, and one of the patterns that I've noticed coming up, doesn't matter where everybody is that everyone's kind of experiencing this Venus retrograde period in very similar ways. So I thought, rather than rehashing it with all of my clients and with my friends and family and students and loved ones, I thought, let me just put out a little video over here. Maybe it'll give some insight and guidance as to the kind of energy that we can expect round about a Venus retrograde. So remember that we don't blame planetary movements on the things that are going on in our lives. The movements of the planets are kind of a mirror image of what's happening in the trends on our planet. They signify vibrational trends and patterns at certain time periods in our lives. And just like we have different seasons that we go through, depending on where we are in the world, our planetary energies also affect us in different seasons depending on where we are in the world. So for instance, summer carries a certain energy and people feel confident and alive and outgoing. And in winter, people feel internalized, introspective, and kind of needing to withdraw. But there's also planetary energies that when are at certain time periods, certain positions, according to our sidereal or tropical zodiacal placements, also represent different energetic shifts, mood shifts, thought patterns and trends in the human race. So, and maybe even other races as well, But for now, I'm just going to speak a little bit about Venus retrograde. Now, contrary to popular belief, not every retrograde affects every person in the same way. So when a planet goes into retrograde, which means that from our position on Earth, it appears, it's an illusional appearance that the planet is moving backwards. It's not moving backwards, but it's kind of a way in which we perceive the planetary movements over a period of time from where we stand on our geographical placement on our planet. And during these times, over many thousands of years, people who study these things have noticed that certain patterns tend to be repeated. So some people will be affected more than others during different transits, meaning different planetary shifts. So take this Venus retrograde time, see how it maybe applies to your life, and take what works for you and leave what doesn't. All right, it's just a friendly little bit of helpful advice. So this Venus went into retrograde on the 19th of December, 2021, and will station direct. That means it will look like it's carrying on with its normal trajectory on the 29th of January, 2022. I'm still not sure what year we're in. I'm still getting used to saying that. So 19th of December, 2021, retrograde, 29th of January 2022, stationing direct. So Venus goes into retrograde roughly every 18 months or so for about 40 days. And during this time, we can notice a few trends that seem to come up. So the things that you need to look for, what to expect during a retrograde, or maybe how people behave, could be one of the following in the list. One of the first ways that Venus going retrograde will affect is relationships. This doesn't necessarily mean it affects it badly, but relationships are highlighted during this time. And if a relationship is going really well, then what tends to happen is that it's a time for a couple to stop and to just reconnect with each other, maybe looking back over their relationship, because retrograde periods represent times of reflection as well. They're not just necessarily, they're not negative per se, but it's a time of stopping, pausing, reflecting, looking back, and reevaluating your goals. So a Venus retrograde can affect a relationship in one way. It can sometimes bring trudging up the past, or fights relating to old things that might come up for a certain couple perhaps. So perhaps misunderstandings about the past or trudging things up that weren't really, you didn't find some closure on. Maybe you guys kind of had an argument a while back and now all of a sudden that's coming up again. So it's trudging up the past, rehashing old things. And it doesn't necessarily have to relate to romantic relationships. It could be friends or family, because Venus kind of rules all the capacities of our relationships in our life, our social circles and love. So things might come up from the past that can be healed during this time. There's an opportunity for healing. There's an opportunity to go back and fix things that are coming up from the past, or maybe to deal with finding some closure, some healing with regards to either your romantic relationship or a close friendship or family member. So rather than, I find that with astrology and proactive astrology, rather than feeling a victim to the energetic season or the trend, rather we can use it. We can utilize this time to actually work in our favor. So if you see that things are coming up with relating to the past, things are getting trudged up, old issues are coming up, or maybe certain conversations or topics which you haven't really had closure on is now needing to come full circle, rather ride this wave so that before the 29th of January, you can find closure on that. And then from the 29th of January, propel yourself forward into some positive new shift. During a Venus retrograde, we sometimes notice, because Venus rules little bits of money, it represents small amounts of money, we sometimes notice that there's not always the cash flow that we want during those 40 days. There's often a block in place of money coming through. So if people owe you money, or there's outstanding money, outstanding debts, it sometimes tends to take a little bit longer during this time. And you'll probably notice that from the 29th of January, when Venus stations direct, then those blockages kind of are released a little bit. But money somehow tends to dwindle during this time, and it feels like it just kind of runs through our fingers. And with it coming at the beginning of the year, that's even more so, because after Christmas and the New Year. So hold on to your cash as best you can. And if you're expecting payments to come through, expect a little bit of a delay. This also comes up with a note that not only for money coming into you, but money coming out of your pockets. You might expect payments to be late as well. And very often during a Venus retrograde time, people might have to phone their debt collectors or whoever they're owing money to and just ask for a bit of a payment plan to be made. During a Venus retrograde, people tend to be attracted to strange or bizarre or obscure things. So you might be feeling a need to watch certain movies or documentaries, or you might be researching topics that might seem a little bit strange or out there. We're attracted to, you might be attracted to exploring conversations or topics with people that you might not usually engage with. And this is also a very good time in romantic relationships and even close friendships to discuss things that you would never normally feel comfortable discussing. So maybe there's a certain topic you've never brought up with your partner before, or you felt a little bit embarrassed to talk about it. A Venus retrograde is a great time to bring that up and to also go deeper into a relationship, to understand each other a little bit more, to pause and to take time to nurture romantic relationships, as well as friendships as well. And then it's always said that during a Venus retrograde, it's not a good time to decorate the home or to do anything with regards to home repairs, decorating internal architecture, as often there's some kind of a delay or disappointment that comes with decorating the home. Builders, architects, things like that, there tends to be some kind of disappointment or delays, because Venus rules the interior of the home and the beauty of the home and the garden. So how we kind of portray the decor of our home is ruled by the planet Venus. So what do we do during this time? What's a good thing to do other than the few things that I've already mentioned? It's a great time to reevaluate what's important in your relationships, not just romantic, but look at the relationships in your life that mean something to you and go, is there room for improvement? What trajectory was I on in this friendship? Where has it been going? Is it still serving us? Or, maybe I need to put a little bit more love and care into this particular relationship. Maybe it's been kind of falling off of the track. Or if it's your own romantic relationship, stop and ask each other, where is the room for improvement? How can we make this even a more beautiful experience for each other? Has there been anything in the past that I can improve upon, or have your needs been met? And to have this loving conversation with each other. And then from the 29th of January, kind of noticing how you can implement those positive changes going forward. Because when the planet goes direct again, when we use that energy of the planet moving forward, we can kind of ride the wave of that and boost it, so that the heart is really ready for the next adventure. Other things to do during a Venus retrograde is to reconnect with estranged family or friends. So if you've been thinking about people from your past during this retrograde, maybe an old friend or a colleague or a family member, a teacher, whatever it is, this is the time to reach out and to reconnect with people. And then finally, from the 29th of January, we can do work that will slingshot any magic, any positive goal setting related to art, money, and love magic as well, relationships. So the 29th of January time is a great time to set goals for with regards to your money and your finances, and also to reprioritize love and to decide, if you are single, what is it that you want in a partner, and re-navigating that and going, is my old shopping list still the same thing that I want, or maybe it's time to renegotiate that. Closer to the Venus direct time, I'll do another video on how we can utilize that energy to boost all the beautiful aspects of our heart and our finances and our family and our friends. But for today, that was just a little bit of loving insight for you on some positive things that you can do during a Venus retrograde. And until we see each other again, and clearly this little flying creature is also enjoying the chat. Until we see each other again, stay well and stay blessed. Thank you.